Coming to you from 8122 Production Studios in the heart of the 607, this is Horror Zone 607. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And remember, you can always join the conversation using hashtag HZ607. Where we talk all things horror and bring you the week's biggest horror movie news. I'm your host, Mike C., and we are back at it. We're actually in the studio earlier than usual this week, but we have got a full show for you. We got a ton of news, a lot of stuff with the movies, a lot of stuff with horror movie series coming up. So we're going to talk a lot about that this week. Also, we're going to be discussing The Invisible Man. A lot of news about that, and got to see it this past weekend. At least 2/3 of the crew did here. And, we got a lot to talk about with that, too. Before I can do any of that, though, I've got a studio full of people you know and love, and I want to introduce them first. So, the big news this week, now this is bigger than any horror movie news, anything else. The big news, very, very special news came out this week, and this is 1,000% confirmed. He is the love child of Destiny's Child. He is my co-host, Rich.
That's right. I'm not going to even tell you which one is the dad. One of them has a penis. That's all you need to know.
I thought that they were all the mom and the dad.
I thought you were going to go for something else.
One of them has the penis, and that's all you need to know. I can tell you that she's married to a very successful man. That's all I know. That's all you need to know.
That's all anybody needs to know. But it's 1,000% confirmed.
1,000.
100,000 billion.
1 millionth concern. It's
beyond
Google. It's one Google percent proven.
Yes.
Over 100%.
So it's kind of weird because 3 black women had 1 white child. It's weird.
It happens.
But it happened.
It happens. And here you are. All right, and also, he is the smartest man in all of horror podcasting. Welcome back to the show, The Professor.
Well, hello.
Yeah, now that you're back and you're 10 out back, you just waltz right in when you see us coming in the studio.
Yeah,
and here you are.
I'm just having a good time.
Yeah. Living life.
Educating.
Yeah.
Doing what I do.
You're teaching your students out back.
Yeah, a group of them just kind of randomly gathered.
Yeah,
and we just kind of,
yeah.
They ask questions, I have answers.
It's like in the movie The Mist. We had the crazy lady that was all religious, and little by little she kind of had a little bit of a following, and then it got bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
you're the Marcia Gay Harden of horror podcasting.
Yeah, no,
it's true.
I'm honored to be the Marcia Gay Harden of podcasting.
We're gonna call you Professor Gay Harden pretty soon.
Oh well,
yeah,
that's a good title.
Yeah, might as well be. All right, you guys want to talk about some news?
Absolutely.
I
got some news.
Just end it
I got some news to lead off.
Yeah.
Remember SyFy Horror Fest? We got to sit down with the wonderful Jill Whitlow.
Yes.
Her agent / we got to meet him also.
Yeah,
very nice
cool
man, Bobby Heckman.
Yeah.
He has reached out to me. He is actually doing a project. I'm not going to say, I can't say about what project, but he actually wants to come on the show and do an interview. So,
sweet.
So in the next few weeks we'll have him on. I'm working it out. I don't have an exact date yet. The week of the 17th through 25th, I think, is what I just have to find out a good time for both me and him.
Yeah, so, I've got some time off from work that week because of March Madness, so
yeah,
I should be able to be a part of it.
You take off work for March Madness?
Every year.
Every year.
Every year. I don't miss. I sit there and watch 12 hours of basketball on Thursday, 12 more on Friday, and however many more hours on Saturday and Sunday.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't even like to watch it anymore.
It's just
it's just there. So that's great news. I know that he had told us when we met him, he got talking with us a little bit and he wanted to do the show.
Yeah,
so that's really cool. I'm glad to hear that he's going to be on.
We will be working something out with him in the future here. It'll be by the end of this month. So awesome stuff. Also, we will be doing a very 8122 Productions while it'll be coming out. I don't know how I'm going to label it. Maybe 3 Fatteners. Maybe it's going to be a special anyway. So I don't know. Maybe I'll make a new graphic for it. We will be sitting. I will be. I won't be sitting down. He'll be at his home and I'll be in the studio. I'll be talking to Mike Ivory, who is one of the writers of the Mortal Mortal Kombat encyclopedia from Uppercut Editions. I will be doing that this Wednesday night. So it'll be out either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. It will be up on. I might put it on everything just because it's going to be an awesome copy.
I already have Mortal Kombat. It's all horror. Get it on. Horror.
I have the promo book already. I will be able to take video and shoot pictures of it. When it's a nice little hardcover book. It's only about 50 pages. The actual
like a table book.
Yes, yeah, but the actual book will be over 600 pages. It's about an 8-pound book. But I have the promo book that they're actually pitching to Warner Brothers this upcoming weekend at Final Combat in Chicago, Illinois. So hopefully that goes well for them. But I will have a special interview with him. I have it slated to do it Wednesday night. So when that happens, it'll be out to the world. I'm actually probably just going to drop it on both 3FN and Horror Zone, just so that way everybody gets to hear it and help out their cause, because it's really cool. And I know he wants to talk about some of the horror characters in it, because he thinks that they should do an all horror game coming out of NetherRealms. Since they do so well and putting them in the Mortal Kombat game, he thinks they should do all of them. So I'll probably have a little conversation with him about that as well. So there's some big things happening at 8122 Productions.
Yeah.
And I'll be able, and keep your eyes open to all the social medias, because I will be posting pictures and video of the book as soon as I can. I don't think he's allowing me to until they pitch Warner Brothers. So I don't think I can do it till Saturday, but as soon as I can, there will be pictures and videos of the book put up on all our social medias.
Amazing.
and on 8122 Productions.
This is an exclusive here.
Yeah, we've been I got the confirmation and everything, but like I said, I've had the book now because I went down to visit. He's a friend of mine, actually, so I went down to visit him and his wife when I was out of town a couple weeks ago down in the York, Pennsylvania area, and I had the book then, but I wasn't able to post any pictures. I did post a teaser picture. If you go on to the Three Fat Nerds podcast Facebook page, also our Instagram at Three Fat Nerds Pod. I don't know if I put it on Twitter. I don't think I did. There's a picture that might have the book hidden somewhere in there, like the cover of the book, little from when I was on vacation.
A little Easter egg,
because nice. I'm not allowed to, because I can't take pictures of anything inside the book yet, just because obviously they need to pitch it first,
right?
And
it's not published.
Well, I got big news, too. I got a big interview coming up.
Sure.
You didn't know about this.
Yeah.
So I got an exclusive interview with the professor's mom.
Oh,
yeah, that's happening. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say a job interview, but...
No.
So there we go.
Is it?
As a bag boy...
Is it?
Could
it be?
As
you
a
can just start calling me Dad.
You'll be known as bag boy.
I'll be your poppy.
Well, now that we've gotten all the 8122 production news out of the way, let's get into the other horror news. We got some big ones.
Yeah, we're going to start it off with a big trailer hit this past week, and that would be Candyman. So we talked last week, when we recorded, the trailer hadn't hit yet. We just got a quick teaser and got the poster. But now we've seen the official trailer. And I'll tell you, they also played it before The Invisible Man, and to see it on the big screen...
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's like the difference
me even more than it did.
Very
it was like seeing the difference between the Spiral trailer with the bootleg version and the real version, and then seeing it on the big screen as well.
And this was the same trailer that we saw online during the week, but just seeing it on the big screen was impressive, and awesome. I am very excited.
Yeah. Well, they didn't give away too much, which is good.
And it looks like there were some little treats for like diehard Clive Barker fans even. There's the drawings they have of Candyman around the area where it's set and everything. The graffiti of him looks exactly like the original illustrations Clive Barker drew for the short story that he published, The Unforgiven, or whatever, or The Forbidden or something. I forgot the title.
I want to say it's The Forbidden.
It's probably The Forbidden. But Unforgiven, I'm thinking. So, it looks like his initial drawing for the character, like they really it looks like they got into it. It looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I like the thing. Still like a lot of mystery about what's going on. I mean, we know it's Candyman. It looks more slasher-esque. It looks like there's going to be a higher body count than any other Candyman.
The scene in the bathroom with the girls saying that's awesome.
Yeah, with the students in the bathroom. That was awesome.
Yeah, so there's going to be a mass murder even.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff.
What a way to take that story, because like in the first one, and it's just kind of like in the one woman's head, almost.
Right.
And now, like, seeing, like, what if it gets
and
out,
still gotta point out, they still haven't shown, and they really haven't even confirmed that Tony Todd is going to be playing him, but they've hinted at it.
Well,
but they haven't shown him.
The only thing we know is Tony Todd's in the movie.
Yeah.
We don't know if Tony Todd is being Candyman or not, which was always the question. And I love how they're keeping that.
They keep teasing.
They keep it
something.
in the background.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. But they don't say.
He's in we know he's in the movie because they've confirmed that. But there was another guy that was hired allegedly to play Candyman. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
The voice
what
is
if it's-
definitely not Tony
What
Todd's.
what if we find out that it's kind of something that can be passed along?
Yeah.
What if the original Candyman, Tony Todd, ends up being the hero at the end of the day and coming back and taking out this? You never know what it could be.
Could
it could
be.
be 1.5 million things. And there's so I just like the fact that they're giving us this nice little teaser. It's a little it's nice. It looks good. It looks crisp. It looks clean.
Yeah.
It gives you all the feels you need. You know that they're going more body count, so it's more of a slasher film than the predecessors were. Because especially the original was not a huge slasher film. I mean, there was deaths, but not body count wise.
Well, and to your point too about how maybe it can be passed along.
Deaths in that.
I've always said that I wasn't a huge fan of the original one. It's on Netflix, so Friday night I went back and I watched it, and there's still some things in it that kind of confuse me. There's just some stuff that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But at the end of the movie, Helen comes back as a Candyman type person, so
it was
it
the
would
90s.
make sense.
It was the 90s. Nothing made sense.
Yeah. But a great score and, just a creepy atmosphere and everything.
Well,
Really
it
good
looks
movie,
like
so.
taking the place of Helen is the guy who played Black Manis and Aquaman.
Yeah.
And the character in The Watchmen. I won't say anything
Well,
else.
Helen's supposedly, they recast her. Is
Calvin.
somebody going to be it?
Calvin in The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Somebody's playing Helen in this movie. And there was an actress in the trailer that kind of looks like her. I don't know if it's supposed to be her or
there was
not.
someone
but
that looked like a Virginia Madsen, almost
Yeah.
older version of her. They could go that route. It could tie into the original movie. There's
well,
a
they
lot
said
of cool
it is going
stuff.
to be a
Yeah.
spiritual sequel, whatever that means. We never know what that means.
Once
but
again, it could mean a lot of things, but
Yeah.
it looks like they're doing something cool and neat. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to
And
see
again-
too much, but I'm going to go see it.
And again, I always like to point out, I say this all the time, they filmed it where Cabrini Green once stood, which is where the projects were in the
projects,
original.
yep.
So it's actually filmed on the exact same footprint as the original movie. So I can't wait to see how that's going to play out because those buildings are gone now. There's still the row houses are there, but it's not the same thing. But they filmed it there, so I'm curious to see how that's going to play into it too.
I think it's going to be great.
I think it's going to be amazing.
I think it's going to be it's a must see.
Produced by Jordan Peele and the director Nia. What's
Nia
her name?
DaCosta.
And what else did she do?
Your mom.
Oh man!
Wow.
Yeah. This is what I get. You deserve
Twice
this.
the professor's mom today.
Yeah, every time I text him, I get something about my mom back. So you're getting it on air.
That's right.
But
What I was looking up Nia.
I'm not familiar with her work, with her body
we
work.
want to be thorough here.
Yeah, jump into the next story. You can come back to that.
Yeah, you can just bring us back later. So
go.
So next up, Robert Englund. Now he wanted to do another Nightmare on Elm Street and could be Freddy one more time. Then he's too old to do it. Then he wants to do it. Now he's too old to do it. Well, he spoke with SyFy Wire last week and said he'd love to voice Freddy Krueger in an animated film.
I would like to see an animated version of Nightmare on Elm Street or Freddy Krueger, or I don't care if it's a series or a movie.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a different take on it. I mean, I think that'd be something. It would be fresh for the horror movie genre or horror series genre as a whole. We don't have a lot of those cartoons where you can point at and go, "Oh,
A
there's
horror cartoon." Yeah.
but make it real horror. I don't want it to be like a kiddie thing. Like, make it really horror, but make it as a cartoon.
There
Like-
hasn't been anything like that, I think, since like the Haunted World of El Super Beasto.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that was great too. That's one of Rob
Yeah.
Zombie's high marks, I would say.
Yeah.
That movie was awesome. A lot of fun, but purely like this is what it feels like when horror comic books come to life, or it's really cool.
I think you could make a win with that. I really do. Do you have that information on the director?
Oh yeah. Little Woods, and I actually heard about this. It's got a 96% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, 74% Metacritic. Two estranged sisters are driven to extremes when their mother dies, leaving them with 1 week to pay back their mortgage. So it sounds like a pretty realistic drama, but I don't know. I've heard great things about it. I wasn't really speaking to my mic, so hopefully you heard.
No,
what I
you
just
heard
said.
you.
Okay, so Nia DaCosta. So this is her second movie. Jordan Peele probably saw some promise in Little Woods.
Probably, and that's nice. Once again, giving a nod to an up-and-coming female director.
Yeah.
When everybody's complaining about not having the opportunity. Jordan Peele giving them opportunities, just saying.
Absolutely. So we got a movie, a big sequel coming up. Everybody is pretty excited for, but it's been bumped back twice, and that would be Escape Room 2. So originally it was scheduled to come out this April, then it got bumped to August, and now we have an official date of December 30th of this year.
The Escape Room 2, the Electric Boogaloo.
The Electric
Or
Boogaloo.
is it Escape Harder?
bump it up.
I don't know.
Because I don't know. Escape Room 2, The Electric Boogaloo, I like it. But Escape Room 2, Escape Harder, I don't know. That might be it.
Could be.
That Escape Harder
Escapier.
Escape Harder.
And then
I
the
like
sequel
better.
is Escape Room with a Vengeance.
Yes. Yes.
I think we're onto something. I don't know. I don't read too much into those things just because it's like now the it thing in Hollywood to push back movies and push forward movies and push back movies. I mean, let's be honest. We had Underwater, which was 2 years delayed.
Oh,
then
wow,
it
I
comes
didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was 2 years. It was a 2 year delayed film. Even going back far enough.
Good.
We talked about it on Three Fat Nerds because there was a little conspiracy theory between Willy Wonka and this movie. But Cabin in the Woods, that was like a year and a half pushed back.
Yeah,
it was
that went-
completed and it was like a year and a half later. And I mean, that was a Joss Whedon film.
Yeah, they couldn't find how to release it or
Yeah,
whatever. Nobody
yeah.
would buy it. That was like, oh, we don't understand.
Mind you,
this.
it turned out to be one of my favorite movies of the decade.
I didn't like it when I saw it in the theater, and it grew
such
on
a
me and
good
grew on me
movie.
and grew on me.
So is that
I liked it
boil
as a
on your
comedy.
back.
Yeah.
I liked it as a comedy, but people were
dark
talking about it
comedy.
like it was the greatest horror movie ever made, and I didn't agree with that.
It's a
but
dark comedy.
Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford.
How about
amazing were
Chris
those?
about those
Hemsworth
guys,
before he
huh?
was Thor?
You know,
I love
those
it.
guys always a win.
Use guys?
Those two.
They always got in there though because Chris Hemsworth was Thor before he shot that movie, but by the time they released it,
Yeah.
he had been Thor already. So
Yeah.
it worked out.
So we got some Lee Wanell news. We'd like to talk about him. Blumhouse has signed Lee Wanell to a 2-year contract to write, produce, and direct for film and television projects.
I love how
made
now.
it. He did it.
You did it.
I love how-
He made it big.
I love how all these people are doing year contracts on directors and writers now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, J.J. Abrams has a 5-year deal with Warner Media for
Flanagan.
HBO Max stuff. Flanagan's got the deal with Netflix.
Yep.
So like all these guys are signing year deals. Not like it used to be. You signed project deals. Like we're signing you to make 5 projects for us or 3 projects for us or whatever the deal
Or
is.
even one project.
Even one, yeah.
Like-
now these guys are like, all right, we're signing you for 2 years. So as much as we can bleed out of you in 2 years, which realistically,
bleed you dry.
well, seriously, realistically, with some of these production companies or individuals in this case, like how much can he really get done in that time? Maybe 3 projects, depending upon the size of the project. Maybe 3 in 2
you'll
years.
see.
Which
You'll
is,
see.
I'm sure it'll be good. I'm sure whatever, or it could be bad. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, on the end of J.J. Abrams at 5 years, you're looking at some, especially with something like HBO Max, and it's not just J.J. It's Bad Robot as a whole.
Yeah.
So you probably are going to get a lot of content on HBO Max from Bad Robot because they have numerous people who work for that company directing and writing and producing projects. So literally, they could have 5 a year going on.
Right.
Like, so you could end up with a lot with that. But like when it's when it's just like a director / a writer, how many projects can you really conceivably do in 2 years? I mean, even with James Gunn, who is the most he's the workaholic of Hollywood, who did just finished Suicide Squad, and now he is immediately starting Guardians of the Galaxy because he was working on the pre-production of Guardians while he was shooting Suicide Squad. I mean, even those
That's
movies
crazy.
aren't coming out until 2021 and 2022.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so the guy is already working on these movies and going into pre-production on one right out of the editing of another. Well, he's actually going to be editing the Suicide Squad while pre-producing the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So how many really can he get in 2 years? Maybe, like I said, 2 to 3 if he's churning them out. But I mean, good for him getting a deal.
Yeah. Well, he's in hot demand right
Yeah.
now. And
J.J. Abrams or Gunn?
No,
Lee
we're talking about Lee Wanell.
Lee Wanell.
Oh, now we're back
in high
to Lee
demand.
Wanell.
Sorry. I was just comparing. I was comparing their
But
deals
yeah,
because
yeah,
they
yeah.
all have similar deals.
Right.
All 3 of them have similar deals now.
But
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
is Lee Wanell in such high demand at the moment, you might ask? Well, it's because he directed the Invisible Man, which premiered in theaters this weekend.
And Upgrade.
And that movie did pretty well, I would say. Had a $7 million budget, and we had high hopes for it. I know the professor and I went to see it with Ron, who's sometimes on the show. Movie made $49.2 million worldwide in its opening weekend.
Flawless victory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't get the fail bell.
No, not at all. And let me tell you, we're going to get into it, like we said, later on in the show. We're going to do
yeah.
a review on this show.
Like,
but,
you won't believe we're going to get into it.
yeah, we're going to actually
It'll
fight.
be
We're going
spoiler.
to get into a fist fight on air.
It'll be spoiler free, just so you guys
Yeah,
know.
spoiler free, but yeah, it did pretty well. Pretty well. $7 million budget, made almost $50 million in its opening weekend.
He's got a good thing going with what he's directed so far.
Yeah.
I forgot his first movie, but Upgrade.
It was Upgrade,
Upgrade
Insidious,
was
The
awesome.
Last Key was the other one.
Yeah, that was the first one he did, right? That's
And then
the first
Upgrade.
movie. Then Upgrade. Upgrade was awesome.
And then this. So
Have any of you seen Upgrade?
no.
See Upgrade.
I started to watch it and I
You
turned it off. I
fools.
couldn't get into it.
Oh, shut up.
But
He gives up easily.
this is why we're going to have a fist fight
you're
on
a
air.
quitter. You're a quitter.
You're just a quitter. You quit everything you start.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. Lee Whannell, great writer. He's done a lot with horror so far. He's involved with the first 3 Saw movies.
Yeah, helped come up with the concept
Insidious.
for Saw clearly, and
Yeah. Wrote the Insidious movies. Was the director of the 4th one, which I wasn't a fan.
I like
of,
him as an actor. I like the
Yeah, he's a
stuff
good actor.
in the Insidious series. I liked
Specs.
him. Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
Like it brought in those. It made me feel like watching Poltergeist. Those people they bring in and. Like
Wait a minute.
but a sillier version.
Did you say Poultrygeist?
Poultrygeist. Poultrygeist, yes. I've still yet to see that movie. I don't want to.
Is that like set in the same universe as Thanksgiving?
I wish.
That's a brilliant
But
concept.
Thanksgiving 3 is all the rage. Just throwing it out there. Anyways.
All right, let's move on to some series news.
Yes.
Macaulay Culkin. We love Macaulay Culkin.
Too much.
So, we love him a little too much, yeah, because he's going to be. He was announced as part of the cast for season 10 of American Horror Story.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm all in.
There's rumors it's going to be American Horror Story
Alone. Yeah. It's going to be Murder House, where they leave Macaulay
Murder
Culkin.
Home Alone.
Murder Home Alone.
Kevin McAllister will be left home alone as an adult in the murder house. No, I'm all right with the news. The nice part about Macaulay Culkin is he's a good actor. He's also just does passion projects. I touched on this on 3 Fat Nerds this week. I was just kind of like, once you get to if you make a shit ton of money doing a role, you can do passion projects the rest of your life. Yeah. And he falls in the same category as Daniel Radcliffe. He falls in the same category as our
Elijah Wood,
our good friend Elijah Wood, where now they're just doing passion projects because they made all their big nuts somewhere else, so they can do whatever they want, and there's something freeing about that. And look how well it's worked out for Radcliffe and Elijah Wood, and even
Edward Furlong.
And even Macaulay Culkin. I mean, Macaulay Culkin's super cool in the aspect that he does podcasts and he does YouTube videos with people and guest spots on there, and he's just like the kind of it guy. He watches wrestling.
We should reach out to him and see if he would do an interview for our show.
You never know, he might.
He might do it. He's Horror Zone on there.
Well, he's an interesting cat, and I think he just likes to give back now because he doesn't. Think about it. He made more money than the rest of us will see in our entire lives before the age of 10.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, also, along with Culkin, the other names that are going to be back is Sarah Paulson's going to be back. Evan Peters is going to be back, who I know you're a huge fan of. I know you love that
Who
guy.
are you talking to?
Yeah, you got pronouns, pal.
Professor.
Pronouns, pal.
I've grown more fond of Evan Peters.
Really?
Evan Peters? Yeah.
You hated him before.
It's that first season of American Horror Story that bothered me because what they did with that character was they kind of glorified and like made him kind of like like sexualized a school shooter to some extent, they made him kind of like he looked good. You sympathized with the character, and that's always a dangerous kind of thing to float when you're.
But that's not his fault.
It's not his fault, no. And I've grown to learn that.
I just can't stand his face.
Well,
so.
I mean, there's that element, but I like him. He's good. He's a good actor. He's talented.
Yeah.
That first season rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. Your mom.
Like
I'm not gonna say anything about your mom there. Kathy Bates is going to be back. Billy Lord. So a lot of the familiar faces from the past An American Horror Story are going to be in it. So.
No Lady Gaga?
No Lady Gaga. Not yet. She hasn't been announced yet.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Shudder's Creepshow will be available on AMC later this year and will lead into season 2 of the series on Shudder.
Cool.
So if you missed it, you can catch it on AMC if you don't subscribe to Shudder.
It was a good first season.
But you should subscribe to Shudder.
It's
reasonably priced, and you have a ton of great shit on there.
Joe Bob Briggs show is awesome. The Last Drive-In is like the best thing.
That's a great show. There's a whole bunch of documentaries up on there that are great, whether they're exclusives or not. Because, I mean, hey, where else are you going to go to find the Never Sleep Again and the Crystal Lake Memories?
Yeah.
Especially if you have 4 and 6 hours to kill, respectively. And you don't have to watch them all at once. Also, they did the really good one with the horror, the noir one. about black history and horror movies, which was really cool.
I caught the Tom Savini one, too.
The Tom Savini one was
really
amazing.
Interesting
if you're a fan, that was really cool. There's so much great stuff on there. And then movies. You have a bunch of, like we've talked about before.
The original content from Shudder is actually, the movies are really good.
They have a bunch of the foreign films, too. Like The Furies was great. We watched that. Boar was, good for what it was.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
Haunt was fantastic.
Haunt was amazing.
Yes.
And then you get into it and you have all the classics. Like right now you can watch
I watched Halloween
Texas
on there
Chainsaw
yesterday.
Massacre. Halloween's on there. Halloween 4 and 5 are also on there.
It's worth it almost for the last drive-in alone.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's worth it. It's worth it for Last Drive-In and Creepshow, and
you got to remember too, it's still in its infancy.
Oh, absolutely.
It's only been around a couple of years, and it's just starting to get big. So,
and they have the ability, because they're owned by AMC.
Yeah.
That they have the pull, because AMC owns a lot of rights to older movies, and so it's amazing.
Well, you can actually subscribe to it through cable now too.
Really?
Yeah, AMC. They have a whole bunch of different offshoots of their channel that they are like. They have AMC Premiere, Shudder, Acorn, Sundance. There's like 4 or 5 different things that they have you can actually subscribe to through your cable provider now. So I know the Spectrum carries it, so you can get it for the same price. It's $5.95.
Stop right now with the ad right now.
No, I'm not trying to do that, but it's $5.95 a month for Shudder through that, or you can get for $5.95 a month with the streaming service, or you can actually subscribe to it a year up front for the $4.75 like you've done. So it's
these are options available if you're a consumer, and you want these products. Yeah,
just stop.
No,
I'm gonna put you outside and put you in timeout here pretty soon.
I'll put you in timeout.
Keeping with Shudder, about a month ago we mentioned that there would soon be a new series that they're calling Cursed Films. And we talked about that a little bit on the show, and we were kind of excited about that. Well, now we have dates for the first episode and
we also went over what we thought it would be.
We found some women that we're going to be taking with us to the first episodes. We found some dates. We got dates for the first episode.
Oh, Jesus. This guy, I tell you.
Can we put him outside the door?
You brought
What were
him.
you saying? I'm sorry.
He rode with you. I just want to point that out to you.
Waltzed in here.
I was just here.
Anyways, I seen him open your door, so wherever you went before, you brought him. This is on you.
He pulled up in a limo.
Just watch your phrasing there.
Anyways, we also were speculating about what movies they could be picking, because they didn't give us a list of movies.
Right.
They just said that some
now
of them
we've got
so we have them. So
we have them.
I'm
the
excited.
dates.
I'm excited to hear them. So go ahead.
So The Exorcist is going to be the debut episode.
We knew that was coming.
Premiering April 2nd. Followed by an episode that will have both The Omen and Poltergeist on April 9th.
That's a good pairing.
That's a good pairing.
And then the final episode will be on April 16th, and will be Twilight Zone the movie.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Very cool,
People,
yes.
I forgot people lumped that in.
Yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh's father was killed.
Yes.
When filming
Victor
that.
Morrow? Was he Victor Morrow?
I believe that's I believe so.
Yeah, and he got the helicopter.
The helicopter, killed him.
Oh man,
decapitated him.
Yeah,
so.
the helicopter incident that is on tape.
Yeah,
you can see the footage.
Yeah,
it's not as graphic as you think it was, because you see the helicopter fall.
Who released the footage?
They've actually shown it on a couple different shows that proves that they're the curse after.
Bloody Disgusting
but you can't
had
see.
it at one
But
point.
here's the thing: you can't see the decapitation or anything.
You just see the helicopter go down.
helicopter, you just see the helicopter crash. The helicopter, because of the way the helicopter falls onto them, you can't see anything but the helicopter. So you see where they were, because they circle them, and then they take the circle away, obviously, and then it falls.
They actually use that footage in the movie?
No, yes, they use the footage. The footage is in the movie. The footage of the helicopter crash is in the fucking movie.
That's insane,
isn't it? Isn't it nuts? But
so there you go. That will hopefully help you enjoy.
But on top of that, there is also there's a second bit of footage that me and Mike were alluding to. The second bit of footage is from a different angle that wasn't in the movie, and there's a long shot of it. But you still can't see like the decapitation or anything. It's not it's not like a disturbing like that. But it's like, oh shit, people died in this scene. It's kind of like they have it on. It'd be like if WWE ever released the footage of Owen Hart falling from the ceiling of the County Arena.
They would throw in like some stock footage, or not actually use the footage.
Oh no, they use the footage from when they died.
John Landis, man, and that put a black mark on him for a little while.
Yeah,
that's why
Spielberg wouldn't work with him anymore.
If you think about it, that's why Landis went from being the it guy. And he made some fucking huge movies.
Blues Brothers, man.
Yeah, well, Blues Brothers,
Trading Places.
Dude, he made huge movies.
American Werewolf
in London. He made all these huge movies, and then he dried up for almost a decade of making like no movies. Like he made a couple low budget movies, but nobody would work with him. He became
recovered
like a pariah.
from that immediately with Coming to America.
Oh yeah,
which was good enough. I think people didn't realize he directed it.
I didn't know that he directed that.
Yeah, he directed Coming to America. But like he lost. I mean, he and Spielberg.
He lost like a half.
buds.
Yeah,
lost those guys. Like
he lost like a half a decade of work due to it.
And Spielberg even appeared in Blues Brothers and vice versa. 1941 Spielberg's movie was.
He became a pariah, and part of it was because he used the footage from the tape.
That's messed. I didn't know that's messed up.
Yeah, nobody trusted him because of his safety issues too.
Well, here's the
big thing.
Landis went to the school of Kubrick pretty much. I mean, he didn't go actually to school, but like if you think about it, John Landis, the person he said he was directly influencing was Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
So the fact that he would do certain things to his actors and put them in certain positions and blah 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 blah,
throw things at them all.
Yeah, I don't know if he did that, but he
would. Animal House.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah,
throwing things at people.
But if you think about it, the reason why he was very method like that was because he took after Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah,
and it went a little too far in that movie where the safety procedures, as we pointed out, were lax. Obviously, that's why the accident happened.
And the children working too.
And the children. Yeah, well, all the way child labor problems.
The child labor.
You have a child labor problem. Not only do you have a child labor problem, you have inadequate safety, which was known, and then like all that thing happened in the middle of the night. Literally, it was like 2:00 in the morning, and those kids should have been on set to begin with, which is a violation of that. But B, obviously the safety wasn't there either because it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was told by the helicopter driver that they couldn't go that low.
Oh, wow.
That there would be a problem, and it wasn't good enough.
No, I gotta do this.
Literally, it was a problem, and it resulted.
Did the helicopter pilot die too?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Either. I don't think so. Believe it or not, I don't think the helicopter pilot, because the crash itself isn't that brutal. The only reason that what's his name died? Sorry.
Victor Morrow?
Victor. The only reason he died was because he got fucking decapitated.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, I don't remember there being.
Wasn't he the coach of the Yankees and the Bad News Bears?
I think so.
I believe that's
because I do believe the kids lived.
No.
Or did they die too?
No, they died.
They crushed him.
All three of them died. One got crushed, and I think the other one got decapitated.
Well, because I know that he tried to protect them with his body.
Bad News Bears. Yep. Blackboard Jungle.
Crazy. It's a crazy thought, but I can't wait to see their take on those movies because, I mean, like I said, some of them I buy until the curse is a little more. Some of it's just happenstance.
The fact that The Omen and Poltergeist are going to be in one episode, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So good news there. And we got one more piece of news here, but before we do that, we got a special guest walking into the studio right now. It's our good friend Ken M from the ODPH. Say hello.
Holy crap. I just made the Horror Zone 607.
You haven't been on since the debut episode in your studio.
Yeah, what's going on?
Welcome. We're just talking about people dying in curses and stuff.
Dying in curses.
Yeah.
Cursed movies.
Twilight Zone movie.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I was going to say, is it tying in with The Crow?
No,
that should have been a part of it. I'm surprised it wasn't. Maybe if
they get a second season, they're only doing 3 episodes.
Really, I mean, that could be a horror movie.
But it was.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it said curse movies. They didn't necessarily say horror.
That's true.
And the Lee curse is a thing.
Oh yeah, the Lee curses.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, let's forget the fact that everybody says that Bruce Lee died mysteriously, and it was a cocaine-induced coma. But cocaine overdose is a thing, people.
Cocaine, a gunshot. I mean, it's the same thing, same exact thing.
Yeah.
All right, one last order of business here. So we know that SyFy has got a new Chucky series coming up in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all excited about that. Well, they've lined up another one here, another series that's been signed for 10 episodes, and it is going to be a Day of the Dead series. And I know that that's near and dear to you because you love that movie.
It's my favorite zombie movie.
I hated it. Absolutely
again,
hated it.
Clarify you. Who's he talking to, guys?
The person that just spoke. That'd be you.
I am the professor. He doesn't. He just points.
Should I start raising my hand before I speak?
He assumes our listeners know.
Well, you were speaking, and then I immediately followed it up.
They might know your voice, but at the same time, he does not use his pronouns. But yes, Mike is what we call a professional hater.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He's a professional hater.
I'm going to hit somebody with a steel chair before this is over. So, But it's going to go back to the first 24 hours of the Undead Invasion, as they're saying. So it's a 10-episode series. Should premiere sometime in 2021.
It's kind of weird.
The Undead Invasion.
When did that start? When did that start with Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah, Day of the Dead is like after everything's.
Yeah, we don't know.
Motion.
We don't know. They haven't stated whether it's going to be a part of that. There's been a couple of remakes to that movie that were terrible. It didn't really state where it's going to fit, if at all, with the Romero timeline.
Cautiously optimistic.
Is Rick Grimes and Daryl Dixon part of it or no?
I don't know.
Crossover.
I think Vic Grimes is.
I think Edward Furlong.
Vic Grimes.
Yeah.
I think Edward Furlong should be a part of it. You know what? I'm getting hope though. SyFy is trying to do bigger and better things. I guess. I mean, as long as they don't put like a tornado that involves zombies in it, I guess they're doing something better. Because now everything they do is got to be insert something with tornado.
I really hope that it's going to end up being Day of the Dead
Sharknado.
meets Sharknado. Eventually,
But
do a
with
crossover.
Sharks. They did zombie sharks too, haven't they?
Yeah, they do.
I've got hope.
They did a ghost
SyFy.
shark.
They sure do.
Hear the pitch. SyFy needs to jump on to what we talked about in the second segment or the second news article. They need to jump on the fact that Robert Englund wants to make a Nightmare on Elm Street cartoon, because I think that could be a perfect fit for SyFy.
Yeah.
Think about it. It would be a perfect fit. If they're buying series based on horror movies, that'd be perfect. Or Shudder. Shudder should jump on. Somebody should jump on board. And specifically, they should do Freddy's Dead.
I've been waiting. I'm surprised. You know, I wasn't going to say anything because you missed
didn't
out
get
on it
anything
earlier.
last episode.
I did get it last
Oh, he
time.
got
I get
it.
every-
Oh, you got
I get
it.
every
He got it. He
episode.
doesn't miss.
I don't
But when
miss.
I was talking about Freddy Krueger earlier, I thought you were going to jump in.
No,
You
but
didn't.
I on all serious note, I think that maybe if that's the way they're going, maybe they should jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
Pitch an idea. Let's get the cartoon show on SyFy. I mean, I think that would make a killing. I really do. Just that's person me. You give it 10 episodes and see where it goes. And I mean, I know I joked about Freddy's Dead. You don't have to do Freddy's Dead, although I think that would be the best one to make into a cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me that is ready for cartoon.
Now I'm playing with power.
Also, Castlevania starts in 2 more days,
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
New season. Very
Yes.
excited about that. Season 3. Is it any longer this
No, as far as I know, it's going to be the same episode length.
as season 2?
Yep.
I wish they would go more.
I think they're
I
just.
want more.
I think they're just kind of waiting to see about renewals before they really deep dive into it, like what the story is progressing. Because Netflix has got so much on their plate right now
Yeah,
that they're being very choosy about what they're greenlighting.
but they're very, very slowly building the story. You know, like,
Yeah.
and it feels like, well, yeah, they could go on for a long time with this, and that like the seasons could be longer. But
Well, I think
I just want more of it.
No, I mean I don't blame you on that. I mean they've got so much coming out, but I think like the success of Lock and Key
Yeah.
has really been like, okay, we can
that's
definitely
awesome.
go into it. Yeah, which
Well, the animation too probably takes way more time. It's hand
Right.
animated, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
so I mean with that being said, they are starting to look at more of the horror genre to add to Netflix and what their program is going to be. So I mean it's kind of a wait and see, but I think as long as the ratings are holding up and the stream watches or however they want to define it as, I think it'll be coming back.
Yes.
Well, that is going to wrap up for the news. If you guys want to talk about anything we talk about during the news segment or anything in general, you just want to bring up something you want to hear us talk about or anything else, you know how to do that. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Horror Zone 607. Like and share that page. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at Horror Zone 607. For all the social medias, use the hashtag HZ607 to join the conversation. And also check out 8122productions.com for all your news and events and everything else going on with 8122 Productions. And also you can check out what's going on with the 3 Fat Nerds, Horror Zone 607, and the wrestling show, which Ken M is a part of.
Hey.
And last but certainly not least, if you would like to support us monetarily and help us pay the bills that we rack up here doing podcasts, it's easy to do that as well. You can go to patreon.com/8122productions. You get a ton of bonus material just for signing up. $1 a month is all you need for the bonus material. So that's $12 a year. You get to support our show. You get to keep the show coming out every week, and you get a ton of bonus content. It's a win-win situation. So remember, patreon.com/8122productions. We are now going to take our break. When we come back, it's Talking Horror Time, and when we're going to hear basically the professor and Mike C pitch to me why I should go see Invisible Man, and I'm going to explain why I didn't see Invisible Man. So we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Ken M.
Padawan J.
Coach Tuffy from the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour podcast, and you're listening to Rich and Mike on the Horror Zone 607 podcast.
Wait from everyone to shadows playing in the sun. Together we lay our heads, the fire blows its time. Time to say goodnight, right on mine, right down tight. Soon without a sound, can't fall asleep, you're not around. You're not around.
All right, don't adjust your headsets. It's not a Skrillex concert. No, we're back with Talking Horror. Although I don't know, maybe a Skrillex concert would be more terrifying. Talking Horror this week, it's easy, it's simple. Mike C and the Professor are going to give you their spoiler-free review of Invisible Man. The reason why I'm not giving you a spoiler-free review is because life happens. The way my luck works is called bad. And ever since I got my Regal Unlimited Pass, I've only been able to use it a couple times because every time I plan on going to a movie, something comes up. Something personal in my personal life came up. So at 9 a.m., we were all going to the 10 a.m. showing. At 9 a.m., I had to pull out. So I didn't get to see it yet. But I am going to go see it. So they don't really have to pitch this to me. I'm already going to go see it. But you guys went to see it. We went with Ron from 3FN to go see this movie. So what were your thoughts on The Invisible Man?
So, do you want to take this first?
Well, I mean, I thought it was a delight, very surprising. I went in maybe a little bit skeptical because I saw the trailers and I thought it reminded me a little bit of Sleeping with the Enemy with Julia Roberts, and I was like, well, what they've done is made Sleeping with the Enemy a movie with the husband being invisible, and it is kind of like that, but that's an unfair comparison. It's so much better than that. I was wrong. It's really good. It's worth checking out, Mike.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, we were talking about this on the drive home. First of all, everybody's all about this Me Too movement and making women front and center in movies, and there's not enough of it and this and that, and everything becomes political. Overly political, when they do these things. Just take a look. I didn't see it, don't want to see it, and that would be the Black Christmas remake there, or whatever you want to call it. It's complete garbage. Charlie's Angels, complete garbage. We don't want to have this stuff shoved down our throat in the horror genre. Well, this is a prime example of how to make a women's movie, a Me Too movement movie, whatever you want to call it, and do it the right way without cramming everything down people's throats, because Elizabeth Moss was fantastic.
Yeah, great
fantastic. This is also a prime example of how to take not only an original, a movie that has been made and remaking it, but it's been done how many different times, different ways over the years, in the last 90 years. And
Memoirs of the Invisible Man with Chevy Chase.
Of course, yes, the classic
by
that it
John
is.
Carpenter. John Carpenter directed that.
No, I did not know that.
You didn't know?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But, I liked Hollow Man. I'm one of the few that I think liked it.
There's a fun take on the...
A little too much of the late 90s, early 2000s slick,
CGI stuff.
CGI type stuff.
Well, they tried... The gimmick with Hollow Man was like, we have computer technology now to show what it would look like if, an invisible person became wet, or... that's what that movie was kind of geared.
And they use that
towards.
in this a little bit,
only very sparingly.
Yeah, and you see it in the trailers. She splashes paint on him, and it's kind of the same kind of thing. And they did that with Hollow Man, of course, not with paint. But
you mentioned the trailer, and I know there was a lot of people always worry that the trailers spoil things,
and I thought it was going to, but it didn't.
The trailer does show the bit where she spills the paint on him and everything. That is not a spoiler, and even Lee Whannell came out and said, the trailer didn't... There's a lot going on in the movie that the trailer doesn't even get to.
Right.
And the movie has a lot of surprises, a lot of fun stuff.
A lot of twists and turns.
There was a moment where, I was shocked, my jaw dropped. Mike might remember this.
Yes.
I was like, wow. I actually couldn't...
Yeah, you were kind of getting embarrassing.
Yeah, I was embarrassing him. I was like, wow, holy...
You were groveling around in your chair, and you were literally out loud saying, wow!
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was that surprising.
Yeah, there was a couple girls in front of us that kind of kept looking back at you at that point.
Yeah,
but and you're right.
Well, they do that anyways.
Lee Whannell, we were talking about him earlier on. This guy, he's somebody. Get to know him if you don't know him already. He was Specs in the Insidious movies, but he's written. He was involved in writing all of those movies. He wrote the first 3 Saw movies.
Yeah,
this guy knows what he's doing, and now to see him direct, which he's directed a couple of other movies, but. This guy's got some chops as a director.
You should see Upgrade, because that's another really good one.
Yeah. And, I wasn't a big fan of Insidious The Last Key, but still, it was an Insidious movie that he, directed.
Yeah.
And, the guy's got... He's got his chops. He's a good actor, but he can direct. And this is a great movie. So it starts off... the movie starts right off in they're not married, right? They're just boyfriend and girlfriend.
I got the they're married. They're married.
Were they married?
Yeah,
I never quite got that if they were or not.
They're married because the whole heir. She receives the money from him.
That's true.
She's
Yeah.
the heir.
But anyways, it starts off. The movie starts off. It's at night. They live in this big, beautiful house that's surrounded by big glass windows, right on the beach.
Yeah,
Waves crashing,
and that's where my sleeping with the enemy comparison starts. Because if anybody remembers this movie with Julia Roberts from the early '90s, the husband's very controlling, abusive, all that, and they live on a beachside, in a beachside house with it's like a lot of glass and like you can see clearly the ocean and everything, and like the comparison though like stops there because like the movie begins and she's clearly already made her plans to escape. She's going through her escape right in the opening.
Right from the start.
Very thrilling opening because you're with her. You're like, oh crap, why is she being so quiet?
Right.
Like what happens if this guy wakes up, you know?
Yeah, and it kind of has one of those tropes that you expect to see in a horror movie, and it was a little bit different. You know, she stumbles across his laboratory.
Yeah.
You know, and
but
sees,
no
but doesn't know what it is.
It's the basement, and like
Yeah.
it's just his workshop.
But she doesn't understand what's there.
Yeah, and you see some things that play out later. You know, like if smart viewers will be like, "Oh, wait, what's that?" And,
Right. But
Yeah,
this movie was just one big, suspenseful, atmospheric piece of wonderfulness. I don't know how else to put it. Really,
well, it's really the story is very streamlined and tight. It's very well paced. Everything moves very quickly from one thing to the next. Like the opening scene, it's a woman waking up next to her husband, and she's clearly like conditioned herself to wake up at the time because no alarm comes off.
Right.
But like it shows the clock, the minute changes, and her eyes are open.
Right.
And she's making her moves, and like you don't want the guy to wake up, you want her to get out of there. And then from there, it skips 2 months ahead, and the sister arrives to inform her that she's staying with a friend of hers,
right?
And her sister arrives to inform her that your husband's dead. What's the character's name? Jeez,
Adrian Griffin.
Adrian is dead, and essentially, she's going to inherit all the money and everything,
right?
And things look good for her, but obviously
she starts to suspect early on. Like in another thing that I did like about this, usually in these movies where somebody's invisible or whatever's happening, you kind of hear like the floors creaking, but you don't see them and this and that, and there was very little of that. You don't see the little footprints. There was one scene where you see a footprint on our carpet. Most of the time she's acting with nobody in the room.
Yeah, and everything that he does is very intentional. It's like he doesn't want her to see footprints. So like, when you see the footprints, it's because he wants her to see them.
But you don't hear any creaks on the floor. You don't see the footprints unless it is intentional. It was very, very well done. But I didn't know who she was before Us.
Okay.
I had heard her name, but I don't
Moss?
know. Yeah, I had never seen her in anything. I think I had heard the name, but she was good in Us, but she had a limited part. Yeah. This, my God.
Well, she's fantastic, and she's been doing great stuff. I've never really watched Handmaid's Tale. The book's great, but I never watched the show. I know she's received awards for it, and
Yeah, no, she's received multi awards for the Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. And The One I Love is a really cool movie with Mark Duplass. It's really
he's a great actor.
It's a really interesting kind of romantic comedy.
Not to get off topic, have you seen both Creep movies?
Yeah.
How good were those?
They're excellent. He's great. He's a good writer too, and he behind the scenes he's involved in a lot of stuff. And they're both in a movie together called The One I Love, which I would highly recommend because it's actually kind of it's got some horror elements. It's creepy. It's basically a couple goes on a couple's retreat because their relationship's on the rocks, and when they go to this place, their doppelgangers are there. And each of the doppelgangers...
So she was in Us twice.
Yeah. Each of the doppelgangers...
two different Us
clearly
movies.
Clearly has... Like, they have an agenda, and it's really an interesting romantic, dark comedy with some creepy elements. But going back to Invisible Man, she's
what a
a
great actress she is. She carries this movie.
Well, there were some good... the one performer, the girl from Wrinkle in Time, Storm Reed, she was good too as as a child actress, I mean, she's starting to really kind
Oh,
of.
that was the daughter?
Yeah, the daughter of the friend.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth Moss's character, her character's name.
What was it, Cecilia?
Yeah, Cecilia. She holds up with a police chief, friend of hers, and his daughter, and
she doesn't think that Adrian knows where he lives. She makes the comment early on, and then the sister shows up to tell her that he's died. And at first, before she finds this news out, she's like, he'll follow you, he'll know.
yeah, and that's basically where we'll end with the spoilers typically, because
Right.
to say any more, that's basically the setup. Everybody believes that this guy's dead,
And you can guess what happens at this point.
And she is pretty much, like, no, I feel like I'm being watched, and more he reveals signs that, like, he's invisible,
Right?
And, like, he does things to make her look worse and worse, and it just gets increasingly and shockingly bad.
Yeah, you see her descent in, from this woman who was abused to
someone set free.
to somebody that's set free. She's obviously got a lot of PTSD.
Yeah.
She can't even leave the house to go out to the mailbox because she's so afraid that he's going to find her. You see her finally start to break out of that shell, and then she suspects that he's there and knows that he's there, and you see her descent into madness.
Yeah, and then once
she goes pretty much insane at this point.
Once it's confirmed that there is an invisible person, like, she's convinced. So, like, obviously when she talks to other people, they're going to be like, you're crazy,
right?
So things get bad with her and her sister, with her and the people she's staying with, and it just
all because of the manipulation.
And it just it's really, and like Mike was saying, I don't want to get over political, but this is how to do a movie with a strong female character, who like, we all understand the abuse she's going through. It's not pandering to anything. You can watch this and not feel like you're having a message shoved down your throat.
Right.
And that's typically like what we're kind of talking about with like the politics stuff. And this movie was just like a really smartly written take on the Invisible Man story. And there's a lot of fun throwbacks to the original with Claude Rains and stuff like that. So, it's great for horror movie fans. As a Universal monster movie fan, this is like one of the better Universal monster movies.
Oh, absolutely.
And to see like the potential for like updating some of these is really exciting, because if this is the start to it, screw that dark universe shit they were doing with Tom Cruise and the Mummy.
Yeah, this is what you do. You can do it with no budget.
Yeah, no budget. Like
$7 million budget.
They just basically paid actors and a few special effects.
Yeah.
Like and the special effects are very convincing. It's not like overly CGI'd. There's only a few moments where clearly there's computers used because they just couldn't do it without. They couldn't do it without computers.
And I gotta say, I like the way that for once they made this guy. And again, this is not a spoiler per se. I like that they made an Invisible Man without a serum, without chemicals this time. And I'm not gonna give away how they did it, but it was pretty cool. How they did it.
Yep, and it's more believable and realistic, actually.
Right,
because
this guy's a multi-millionaire that deals with like optics
and
whatnot. So that was pretty cool. But the movie, a lot of it takes place at night, very dark, a lot of like blacks with blues, like different shades of blue.
The opening titles were beautifully shot.
Yes,
like just the waves crashing,
and you see the words come up on the screen and they dissolve into water, kind of
dripping away. It was really, and then like just how streamlined it is. The opening title sequence, the opening shot is like the title sequence on the waves, and it just pans slowly up, and you see the house.
Yep.
And then you zoom into the house,
and then it gets going.
And then bam, you're right in it, and it doesn't let up. There's only one minor complaint for me is like towards the end it does have a little extra padding I felt that could have been left out.
Yeah, I was going to get to that in a second, but again, it's very dark, very atmospheric, I love.
It's more pushing for the cushion.
Yeah.
More cushion for the pushing. I said it backwards.
It doesn't matter.
I'm dyslexic in this room.
That's okay.
I like to push it into cushions though.
Yeah, he does.
If you guys want to hear about pushing it into cushions,
we should get him on Love is Scary.
You need to get around Dr. Derek a little more.
Yeah,
he'll tell you all about pushing.
We got to get you on Love is
baby.
Scary with Spooky Mike and Dr. Derek.
Dr. Derek did 3 episodes yesterday. Ken, you cannot wait to hear these.
Oh, yes.
Trust me, I was a part of all of them, and unfortunately, me and Ron were a part of the last one because Ron came by. He purposely saved it because he wanted to like make us just sick. You'll have to hear it, and we can't talk about it on the air because it's bad. All I can tell you is it involves hot ramen.
Oh, shit.
Oh, jeez.
Patreon.
I'm sorry that I missed it.
A122productions.com.
Yeah. Sorry that I missed this episode.
Patreon.com/A122productions. Get close.
But
Sorry, man.
Back to the movie, 'cause
Anyways.
yeah. Now that I'm sick to my stomach just thinking about.
You don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know what it is. And you're
No,
sick to
and
your
it's
stomach. It should
it's
tell you.
nauseating
Hot
just to think
noodles.
about.
Trust me, it's
Hot
scary. It's scarier than
ramen.
it's scarier than any movie you've ever seen. It was scarier than The Exorcist. It scarred me more than The Exorcist scarred you. Just
And
throwing it out
nothing
there.
scars you because you're used to him.
Yeah, it's bad. It was bad. I don't know. He pulled this from fucking Twitter. I just want to throw it out there. Anyways,
Wow.
I digress. I know we were in the middle of that, but
Yeah.
I couldn't help when he said it was padded to make a
to move into
to
that.
make
And I
a
couldn't
cushion.
help-
That's
Yeah,
fine. We
pushing-
got a little extra commercial
Yeah,
in
to
there
get in there. And
for
then we plugged a little
Scary.
something. We plugged Ken M's passion. Ken M's passion is Love is Scary.
Yeah, this was your
It really
brainchild.
Is he? Yeah. I just to see how the child has grown now into a full-fledged adult that I can't even talk about or acknowledge because I'm not behind a paywall. But
And we'll be
Patreon-
banned. We'll be banned from everything.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
Game over, man.
I've had two providers
Game
tell
over.
me I can't talk about it on the show
Yeah.
because it is that hot. So if you want to check it out, $1 gets you in the door, $3 gets you a better table
All right.
to sit and observe.
So back to the Invisible Man.
You got us all talking hot ramen. It's throwing everything
So
off.
very atmospheric, very cool colors, very well directed and shot. Suspense, like I said, from start to finish.
Yeah.
There's very few breaks from the suspense throughout the movie. And I got to say, I've mentioned this a few times off air. We talked about it yesterday, Professor, when we were watching
It's
it.
getting better with the verb, the pronouns.
Yeah, the score. Although it's not going to be like Halloween where you're going to remember it, but it was very menacing and very powerful, and was very much a character.
Yeah,
in and
you
of
heard
itself.
it, a little bit of it right before the Skrillex music starting off the segment.
Yeah, that music that you heard was part of it. So,
But when that hits at the right time during the movie, holy crap! It
yeah, with the
shakes
sound
you.
system in the
Yeah.
theater, the whole theater was shaking. And so, to kind of get back to one of the points you made, the end of the movie was probably what I felt was the biggest flaw with it. It kind of went on a little too long. It kind of had a weak, predictable ending.
Okay, yeah.
So that kind of hurt it a little bit for me. I think I would have probably have given it a better score.
Okay.
But
So what you're saying is the ending of The Invisible Man is like watching the finish to an AEW match.
yeah,
Okay.
a little bit,
Just making sure.
a little bit.
Little tease.
They didn't know where to end it.
Since we're teasing everything, the wrestling show.
They didn't know
Yeah.
how much time they had left. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a cool ending, but they could have trimmed something out. Like it just felt like the movie ended and then we got like a coda.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anybody know what a coda is?
Yeah, and I whispered, I kind of whispered to you towards the end. Oh, I can see what's going to happen. That's going to lead to a sequel, and then they changed
He
it.
leaned in and he whispered in my ear.
I whispered a
towards the
sweet
end.
nothing in your ear, but
and
I kind of wish that they had gone the direction that I told you.
Yeah,
I think it would have been a better ending,
Yeah.
and they kind of ruined that.
And the lady behind him went shh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like the end of the Simpsons episode. Where the guy whispers and like shh, and then yeah, it was like
that commercial,
That's
the
how it ended.
T-Mobile commercial with Anthony Anderson.
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah. But any final thoughts that you got before we grade it?
Well, I generally thought it was very good, and there was only a little bit towards the end where I thought it could have been tightened up a little bit. So
Okay.
generally, yeah, I would give it a solid B plus A minus range,
Okay.
like 89 to 91%.
Wow. So basically a 9
it's-
out of 10 you'd give it.
It's good. I left the movie very excited about Universal monster movies.
It's
again.
professor approved.
Yes.
Yeah,
We should start our own website for these
Professor approved.
We have our own website.
things. We do, but Professor approved.
We've just been
No, I
plugging
mean
it the entire
specifically for
shift.
that.
We should start a
Specifically-
podcast about this stuff.
Specifically for that.
we should start. You know what, Professor? Me and you, we're going to start a horror podcast. Can you
Yeah.
believe that?
That's not what I meant, guys.
Where we
That's
talk
not what I
about
meant.
this stuff.
I think this is a great idea.
Not what I meant. I meant for your grading of movies.
For everybody scoring at home, 8122productions.com or patreon.com/8122productions.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming in today.
Hey, no problem. I'm throwing everything off. This show was moving good, and then all of a sudden, hot ramen gets thrown in the room, and,
And then
everybody
we're
goes
all
off
out
the
of
rail.
whack. Yeah, it hasn't been the same since.
Oh, it did get
So-
thrown anywhere. I'm just throwing
So
it out there.
I would give it a pretty high rating, like an A minus, B plus.
It's like a 9 out of 10, you'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
All right, so my grading, I've never really kind of broken down my scale, but I do it out of 10 as well. 5
Yeah, as a-
average,
As an educator, I'm confused about your grading scale.
Yeah, so let's kind of break it down. So 5 out of 10 would be average. I'm not going to go below that.
5
6 out of 10
10's
above
50%.
average. Yes, 6 out of 10. 5 out of 10 is right in the middle. It's half. Okay, so that's my halfway point.
That's his
6 out of
average.
10 above average. 7 out of 10 good. 8 out of 10 very good. 9 out of 10 great. And 10 out of 10 would be amazing, perfect, amazing.
I don't know if you should ever hit a 10, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, I never
So that's
really.
that's
give
kind of
a
where I
10.
go with my
I don't
scale.
perfect
I don't go
exists.
out giving 10s.
Yeah.
You know, come on.
So
No.
because of the ending, of it, and because a little bit with like the CGI effects that
there's
were
some-
in there, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. See,
So
like
very,
I
very
read that
good.
as like a 75 average, which is a C.
Yeah,
which
I'm not thinking
doesn't
about this
look
as a
good.
teacher.
As a teacher, that doesn't look.
No,
good
he's
to me.
not. But he's not going to. I get
Not
his.
doing
I
it
get,
on a
I
teacher's
get it
grade.
now.
I'm just saying, I get his curve though, because I mean,
Yeah, I get it.
if you think about it, 5 is in the middle mark, so that's average. That's an
Yes.
average mark, especially on a scale of 1 to 10. So I do get his stuff. Sometimes
never
when
really
he
broken it
grades,
down, so-
but sometimes when he grades things, though, I feel like it's
a bit harsh.
It's a little harsh. I mean,
Yeah, because
I
this
try to
is
be
grading-
honest about it,
with
though.
his grading of like Halloween 2018 at like the 0.5 level it is now, I guess.
Yeah, it started as a 2 out of 10 and it became a 0.5 out of 10 the more times I
Yeah.
watched it. I'm kind of like leaning more towards like a 0.2 out of 10.
Oh, it's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we won't talk.
We
about
won't talk about it. I don't want to get too lost in the weeds. I'm just saying you have to understand. He's a hard grader.
Yeah.
On
I'm
some
an
things,
honest grader.
and he's
I go with my heart.
But
he's
as a
an
professor-
easy grader on other things. So he has a curve sometimes. Sometimes the curve's not there. He had like a curve with The Grudge a little bit. Like he didn't give it a great grade, but he gave it a little extra because he's a fan of that series.
Yeah.
because it wasn't that great. But with
like
that
a
being said,
65. 65 is like a D.
you passed. You passed by 1 point.
Well, you made
Yeah.
a movie. And
Yeah, we're not doing this
it
like a
makes
teacher.
sense. It
We're not
makes
doing this
sense.
like a
You made
teacher.
a movie. You did it. You know.
Hey, but you know what? If he wants to do his grades like a teacher, that's
He can
good.
do whatever he
That's
wants.
fine.
Yeah,
Once
and then
again,
anything
But I just
below-
wanted to explain mine a little bit
Anything
more.
below
Mike,
D is.
I know, I got you. So Mike C says that this movie
7.5
is
out
in
of 10,
between.
7.5 out of
Mike
10.
C says it's good. It's in between very good and great.
Yes.
That's where we're at.
and I'm saying the same
and the
thing.
professor says basically it's great at a 9. Is professor approved? Go see this movie. I feel like that's what we should take away. Go see this movie. Everybody
Go
give it a
see this
passing
movie.
grade.
Yeah.
It's great.
There you go.
No, that's what I take away from it because I am not exactly the big horror genre guy of the room. So
I think you'd enjoy it though, because it's
Well,
not.
It's
I
not super
wouldn't-
scary, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call it. I guess it's a horror movie, but
It's
it
got
was
like a
more
lot
of
of
a
Hitchcockian.
Yeah, it was kind of a psychological
which
thriller.
I can get.
Hitchcockian.
I can
yeah.
get down with. I mean, everything else I've heard about the movie has been really good, and I don't think this was going to be part of the shared universe. I think that kind of thing is
They've
dead.
thrown that out. Yeah.
Yeah, they've just kind of gone by
The
the
Mummy
wayside.
was like, "Yep, nope, we're not doing that."
right.
Damn,
So,
Tom Cruise.
And I love the picture that they had in the magazines with the people that were going to be in it and everything. It's so sad to look at now. Like
Yeah.
Johnny Depp was there. He was going to be the Invisible Man, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think Top was the Invisible Man.
Oh, man.
it was kind of crazy. there was some stuff there that was.
I'm
kind of
glad
bad.
it didn't happen. I'm glad it
Yeah.
didn't happen.
They
I am
it
glad.
was all
works
it
in
was all
mysterious
high
ways.
powered.
And thank God it worked out the way that
Yeah.
it did, because we got something that we never would have gotten
Yeah.
otherwise.
It was all high-powered actors too, so they would have never been successful because they would have had to spend a ton of money. This, they take a scale back, they pay $7 million, it makes a shit ton of money. Here you go. Welcome to the new generation. If you can make a movie for less than $10 million, usually that means you're going to make your profit back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that I think is where I think directors, especially in the comedy/horror realm, need to stay. They need to get 10 million or under, and you'll find that you'll reach success. Because even if your movie makes $30 million, you have made the budget. You are safe to make another movie. Our problem
And
is
be
we're getting
clever
into these.
about
Their problem is we're getting into movies where as that Marvel scale gets up. You know, if a Marvel movie makes a movie for $300 million, they're fine because they're going to make $1 billion on that movie. They know this.
Right.
It's a tried and true thing. But everybody else needs to stay away from that mark.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
needs
want
to
to just
come
say
back.
something here
Bring
too.
it back.
I just want to
Bring
say
it- roll
something.
it
Tone it down.
Going with this,
Think of a clever idea.
I just want to point out that this movie, you know, when I think of a movie made for $7 million or less, I think of something that's going to be like real rough looking, and it's going to be, you
Blair
know,
Witch
kind of
Project.
gritty and this and that. It's
Yeah.
going to have like a poor quality. This movie looked like it was made for $100 million.
I just want to point
It's
out
really good looking.
with the software we have available now, with the digital cameras we have available now, the technology is there to make films cheaper and make them look good. There are people right now making fan films that look the same with phones that look like real quality
movies,
films.
yeah.
I mean, there's some out there I can point out to, not just in horror,
Steven
but in
Soderbergh does that.
Right, but
the
not just in horror, but all over the place. I.e., there was that great one from Star Wars Theory, the Vader Part 1. It looks like a big budget motion picture. The CGI in that movie, I dare say, is better than the prequel CGI. CGI. And mind you, this was made on a real shoestring budget by somebody who's just making a fan film.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if taken away from what Vengeance didn't have, it still had some pretty cool kill scenes and some really awesome makeup effects that you're like, oh shit, you did this in a fan film that was made for less than $10,000. I mean, like, once again, you can do these things. You just have to put the time and effort into them.
After seeing this and some of the other, even some of the legendary movies that have been made over the last 50 years, it just goes to show there's no excuse to have to spend $100 million on one of these movies. You don't need to do it. Those ones usually are the ones that fail.
That's what I'm saying.
Practically
They kill
done.
things.
You got to have a clever idea that people like elevator pitch, like you sell somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like, the elevator pitch was probably something very simple, like imagine like an abused woman whose husband turns invisible and keeps abusing her. That's like a really clever idea. Bam, you got me sold.
I can do this movie for under $10 million.
I can do this for under $10 million. All right, bam, you got it. And
again, this movie looks like it was made for over $100 million.
Yeah.
And it was $7 million that they spent.
Good.
It's fantastic.
Good. Very good.
It's the whole less is more theory.
Well,
oh yeah,
that's why when people were asking me, one of the big controversial things from last year that I was a big fan of was Brightburn, and everybody was like, "Oh, it failed, it bombed."
Oh, it's a good movie.
The budget of the movie was $6 to $12 million, and it made $33 million. It didn't bomb; it made its movie money back. So when people were like, "Is there going to be a sequel?" You bet your ass there's going to be a sequel because they made 3 times their money back.
Yeah,
and that's the key to success.
Are they
there.
actually doing a sequel?
Well,
There's
originally
talks.
there
was talk of it.
And everybody kind of got on it like it bombed. And that's what the rumor was it bombed?
But
when you
know
look
that.
at the hard numbers, and that's what Hollywood looks at, I'm going to give you the key to the kingdom that Kevin Smith said a long time ago. The reason why Kevin Smith has a job in Hollywood, the reason why he is so successful in Hollywood, is they know that they can hand him a budget of $5 million and that he will return them $30 to $35 million. The time that he was like, the only time that you are going to fail is when you make a big budget movie and it doesn't make it back, and then you will no longer have a career.
Yeah.
As long as you make lower budget movies, the people will consistently buy at a higher rate. If you make the movie for $5 million and it makes $30 million, people thought Tusk was a failure. I enjoyed Tusk, but people thought Tusk was a joke. Tusk in the theaters only made $15 million. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, he only spent $2 million to make it.
Yep.
So therefore, do the math. He made money hand over fist for the company
Tusk
that put
is
it out.
carrying him through what his current.
Oh
success.
yeah, and here's the thing: and the fans and everybody caught it on DVD later on, and it's become that cult
It's a
classic,
cult.
just
Oh,
like
it's great.
most of Kevin Smith stuff. But if you think about his theater run, he makes movie. The most expensive movie he ever made was Jay and Silent Bob for Strike Back for $20 million, and thankfully that movie made $40 million.
Yeah.
But outside of that, all of his movies were made for under $10 million. We talked.
Dogma
Diesel's
made a lot too.
Yeah,
Right?
Diesel's movie club pick this week was Clerks because he's making stuff that are connected to Star Wars, and of course they have the Death Star conversation there in the movie.
Yeah.
So he picked Clerks. Clerks was made for $27,000, and in the theater run, which was very limited, it made $3.2 million. Think about how iconic and how much money that movie's made on DVD and Blu-ray since.
Well, that was the big one. Yeah, I mean,
But-
indie movies.
yeah.
that was.
But think about $3.2 million though on an indie film that he spent $27,000 on. It's an unheard of money. So I think that what horror directors need to do is not go down the road that we've seen some of the ones that have failed, i.e. Black Christmas. Black Christmas. Black Christmas is a perfect example. Black Christmas, they spent what? I think it was 15 to 20 million.
Something
off
like
the top
that.
of my head. I'm not going to look it up, but 15 to 20 million.
They
I know it was
didn't make its budget
and they
back,
didn't
did
even
it?
make the budget back. That's
Last
a
I saw
failure.
was at like $18 million.
When I played when I played the number one movie and it's at $50 million for an Invisible Man, and we played the it's flawless victory.
Yeah.
Like they made money hand over fist back. Guess what's going to happen? More movies are going to be made, whether it's an Invisible Man sequel, whether it's a Dracula remake, whether it's whatever. They might not be tied in together, but now there's an interest because you can make money off those movies for a short amount of money. I'm telling people out there, if you're a director, follow those keys, man.
Do a good
Follow those
version
keys.
of Creature of Black Lagoon too, as well, please.
Shit, I just want to also
I'd
throw out.
love to see that happen.
Talk about a huge hit. We were just talking about Halloween 2018. Made a shit ton of money in the box office. That movie was made for less than $15 million.
Well, the original one, $300,000.
Yeah.
And look at all the money that's made over the years.
So once again, I think the sweet spot for horror is something under, for a low budget, for a regular horror movie, is under $10 million. For a big budget horror movie, it might, if you're a Halloween or something like that, you can probably creep into that 15 to 20 million zone. And be all right.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would say if
There's
you're anything
no
else
need
under
or
$10 million,
excuse.
under
No need,
$10 million dollars, and guess what? If you only make $20 million, you made double the money. Congratulations,
Right.
you're a success. I know that Candyman's not very expensive either.
Yeah.
They've said that Candyman is only coming in at under $10 million as well. That movie's probably going to make easily 30 to 40 million opening week. I mean, even, let's go low. Let's say it underperforms. Even if it's 25 million, they made 15 million more than the movie cost to make.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's a no-brainer. It's a success at that point. And then week 2 comes out, they make another 10 million. Now you're at 35 million, and you've made, it's math, and that's how Hollywood operates. They don't care if you made $100 million on a movie. That's not what gets you a sequel. What gets you a sequel is if you made the movie for 5 million and you get 40 and you make 40 million, that's 8 times the amount. If you make a movie for 100 million and you only make 120 million, that means they only made $20 million. Which movie did they make more on? The one that they made for $5 million that they got a $40 million return on.
And one of the points I just want to make out real quickly before we wrap this up this week, The Invisible Man, they said, it had the $7 million budget, but with all the advertisement and whatnot that was involved, they said it had to make around $30 million to break even. It made $50 million in its opening week.
That's because they went
That's
heavy
not even including Sunday.
I just want to put this out. That's because they went heavy on the advertisements. They could have probably cut back that budget by 10 million and still been all right. But once again, maybe here's the thing. Maybe that advertisements pushed it over the limit. Maybe the reason we're talking 50 million instead of 40 million is that extra bit in the advertisement.
By the end of this
I had
thing's life,
students talking about it in class. They were like, "Oh, Invisible Man." They were, so buzz was strong.
and by the end of this thing's lifespan, it's going to end up making over $100 million at the box office. Yeah. It's going to be a massive
But then
success.
you could overdo it like Charlie's Angels, where it was shoved down your throats.
Yeah. See, there's a difference. There's a sweet spot. There is pointing to our wall of posters in here, because I got to hang the other ones back up because I just framed them, by the way. The wall of posters, you had Solo, which was a very good Star Wars movie for Star Wars fans. However, it made not that much money. Reason being, there was no advertisement behind the movie.
Nothing behind it.
None. And on the other hand, you had Charlie's Angels, which was oversaturated. So you can fail either way.
Yeah.
You got to get that sweet spot in the middle. And maybe that's where Invisible Man hit, was that sweet spot. Maybe the extra, maybe spending.
It was the TV advertisements for Invisible Man, though, because the Charlie's Angels movie, it was all over the internet. Like, I pulled up Facebook, bam, Charlie's Angels, blah, 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 blah. I was like, ugh.
Right on. Well, great show, great review, guys. I will definitely be seeing that this week sometime, and maybe I'll throw a line on one of our social medias, but I gave it as a grade just so that way it gets out there. Unfortunately, I did have to miss it this week on acts of God, if you will. Yeah. So once again, we always want to hear from you. What did you think of Invisible Man? What did you think about any of the stories we talked about today? What do you think about, do you want to hear us talk about some in the future? You got a director you want us to check out, a movie you want us to check out, good or bad? The three of us in this room like to watch good movies, but we do have a guy that watches bad movies. You send him in. So no matter what, we have somebody to fit your horror needs.
That's the heavy hitter.
Yeah, that is a heavy hitter. So send them in. You can do that easily. Facebook, HorrorZone607. On Twitter and Instagram, we're at HorrorZone607. Use the hashtag HZ607 when talking about the show so we know you're involved. Also, as Ken M pointed out earlier, you can go to 8122productions.com. The website that Mike C. forgot we had. And
it's not what I was talking about.
And believe
I meant like
it,
a Rotten Tomatoes type website.
Ready for this?
I think
ready
this
for
podcast thing might be a good idea.
Ready for this? There is a section where it's called HZ607 articles. If the professor wants to write any articles, he can send them to me. Bam! Their articles are there. There's reviews in that section that
But
you
I
have
meant
written.
I meant like a Rotten Tomatoes type website.
Well,
the professor.
Well, we could do that. We could do that on 8122productions.com if he had that kind of time on his hands.
Yeah, no,
but he's
right
a busy.
now,
the professor. The professor's a busy man until at least the end of spring.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Yeah. So anyways, 8122productions.com. Keep your eyes out. There might be some more reviews up there soon. You can also check out the Three Fat Nerds and the wrestling show up there, which Ken M hosts with me each and every week. Also, you can stream and download shows from there. You can also find our shows by typing in Horror Zone 607 on any podcatcher in the world. We're talking Stitcher. We're talking Google Play, Apple Podcast. Of course, the big one, Apple Podcast. Yeah, you can Google the name. It's all there. We're there. We're out there. We're in the world. Keep your eyes posted because we got some big interviews coming up. We got the Mortal Kombat one coming up. We got Bobby Heckman coming on eventually to talk about some project he's working on that I can't talk about, but he told me about it.
Don't forget, we're going to get Macaulay Culkin on this show.
Hopefully I can try to get Macaulay Culkin on the show. Of course, you can talk about events. We're going to be at BroomCon. BroomCon is going to be at the SUNY Broom Ice Rink on May 2nd and 3rd. You can get tickets at broomcon.com. Also, I know the ODPH will be giving away 2 free tickets, and we announced today on the Three Fat Nerds show, we're announcing this week, we'll be announcing the date officially because I had to work it out because there's some things going on in the magic world at the store for April, but we'll be announcing our 2nd anniversary party. We will be giving away a set of tickets for BroomCon at that party.
Wow.
So there's a reason to show up. Plus you get food and stuff and entertainment, and I got something up my sleeve. Ken knows about what's up my sleeve, but
yes,
I got something up my sleeve.
Yes, I do. It's very well worth the time if you make it down here for it.
Absolutely. And
is it me naked?
Well, if you want to be naked, you can streak. You're
That'll
part
be
of
up
this-
your other sleeve.
You're part of the 8122 Productions family. It's technically an 8122 Productions party because that's where it all started. So there you go. You can, if you want to
do
streak for
whatever
that
I
event,
want.
go ahead. You were here last year. I'm sure you'll be here again this year.
Maybe it'll be live cammed for patreon.com/8122 Productions under the Love is Scary section.
Yeah.
There you go. And there's
I'll do the truffle shuffle.
there was my last plug. I let Ken just do
I'll
it.
do the truffle shuffle.
And of course,
completely
Ken,
new.
real quick, where can people find you?
All right, so you can find me and the rest of my panel on the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour, better known as the ODPH podcast. You can find us on any podcatcher that is out there. Just type in the hashtag ODPH or just go to OchoDuroParlayHour.com. It's our webpage. We got a lot of stuff going on that slowly tease because we just cleared 200 followers on Facebook. So if you're one of those, great. If you're not, what are you waiting for? Jump on over. Has all our social media links. You definitely want to be following us on there because we are very, very interactive and we got a lot of stuff planned for 2020.
Yeah, and see, Professor, he also has a website and a podcast. It might take off. We might be able to do this.
I think
all,
this is an idea.
After all, I think we're on to something finally.
Yeah.
We're on to something
I
finally.
hate everybody in this room.
Well, Mike, that is all we have, so take it home.
All right, well, you're all fired, so it'll just be me in the studio next week. But
Good luck with that because he doesn't edit or put it out.
Yeah,
He's
I'll
on the
figure it out.
producer.
This
He's
is gonna be
screwed.
I'll figure it out.
It'll all be Facebook Live, folks.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Him just
We're
staring at his
gonna
phone.
lose a little bit of our budget starting next week. But
And I have the key to the studio.
Yeah,
and I
that's
have
fine.
and I have the password
Man
of the
on the
pod
street.
beam.
I'm going to do it from my car. Man on the street, starring Mike C. So, Professor, thanks for wasting all of our times this week. We hate you.
anytime.
So thanks for being here. Ken, thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, thank you for the informal invite that I just decided to come and crash the zone.
Yeah,
So
you drifted on in like Elias.
yeah, I mean, I always hear you talking about, Elias and Aaliyah and how they should be, a faction on WWE programming. So I just figured I'd just walk with Elias, and then I walked in.
You'd
and,
walked in doing one of the genie things.
well, I didn't want to crash the internet, so I just didn't want to do that. So.
All right, well, thanks for being here nonetheless.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you,
it.
thank you.
Everything you've ever done for us.
Oh, thank you, man.
Rich, thanks for also being here for all your hard work. You're also fired, don't forget. So yeah, this is it. This is the last show with everybody here. It's me from my car going forward. Production value is going to be a little bit down, but that's okay. That's okay.
There's a lot of honking and swearing.
Yeah, it's going to be me driving to work.
Angry rants, and if
Trying
you
to talk about
want,
horror movies.
Yeah, it is a horror movie.
it'll just be horror movies and Brian Cashman talk.
Pretty much. But by myself. That's it. Talking to nobody.
What do you think, guys?
We might be onto something. If he records on it, like we get him to record on his phone, we could call it Hater Nation.
I'll be like
Yeah.
And
Christopher,
just on his way to work, he just rants on
I'll be like
whatever he's
Christopher
hating
Mad
on.
Dog Russo. Just like, what are you doing? Ah.
No, you'll just be. You'll have the phone looking at yourself, and then you'll flip it to the rearview mirror, so you can just act like you're talking to somebody back and forth.
I'll be interviewing the person
It'll be
in
like
my
the live
backseat.
audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Interactive, folks.
All right. Well, thank you, fans, for listening week in and week out. We're so glad that you guys do. Until next week, which we don't know exactly what the show is going to be like going forward, but tune in next week and you'll find out. Until then, this is Mike C. saying, see ya.